Hey, Puppy Trades! I wanted to do a video analysis update of the major indices in the stock market. So we'll talk about the Dow Jones ETF DIA, as well as the S&P 500 SPY, the Nasdaq QQQ, Nvidia, Microsoft, Apple, and Amazon. We'll talk about Disney, JetBlue, Delta Airlines, and Lincoln National Corp to get a financial in there. I'll go over my two favorite setups, Procter & Gamble and Qualcomm. We'll talk about some growth stocks like ST&E, ACB, Aurora Cannabis, Tilray, Roku, Tesla, Bloom Energy, and Plug Power. We'll also talk about crypto a lot, like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Marathon Patent Group, Riot Blockchain, SOS Limited, EBON, and we'll also talk about Dogecoin and Stellar Lumens, not because I think they're the greatest opportunities. They're extremely risky, but I think they're an important part of the cryptocurrency puzzle. So let's get right into it. Here's the Dow Jones ETF DIA. It goes on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulse to complete a large degree wave 1 from the March 2020 low. It then has an A, B, C correction to put in a large degree wave 2. So the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low gives a destination for wave 3 of 372. That is because in Elliott wave theory, wave 3 is stronger and faster than the length of wave 1. It's also interesting to note the classical traders, they're going to agree with us. They're going to call this a bull flag. They're going to say this is the first leg of a bull flag placed at the low of the consolidation, which will give a second leg of the bull flag target of 372. Either way, whether you're a classical trader or an Elliott wave theorist, the destination right now on the larger degree is 372. I think it's very important to understand on the smaller degree for the Dow Jones ETF DIA, a major index, not only do we have the destination of 372, we have the path right now for how we are going to get there. Okay, so from this election low, we have a wave 1 and a wave 2. We have a wave 3 impulse, then we have an A, B, C correction we put in a wave 4 low between the 38.2 and the 23.6% retracement. So how do we know this is a wave 3? Well, this actually goes past the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 2 low. So wave 3 in this instance is stronger and faster than the length of wave 1. So this fits the bill right now for a wave 3 impulse. And then we have a textbook A, B, C correction to put in a wave 4 low between the 38.2 and the 23.6% retracement. So the length of wave 1 in time and price placed at the wave 4 low is going to take the Dow Jones ETF DIA on a fifth wave higher to about 382, so long as the 50% retracement to 38.2% retracement holds. Okay, the 50% retracement of a wave 3 is the wave 4 invalidation. So if the Dow Jones ETF DIA is above 324, wave 4 is in. The length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low gives a fifth wave target of 382. Now, this is a 2.5 month rally, and I expect that this fifth wave higher is going to be a 2.5 month rally. So what's that going to mean? Well, that means that right before this quarter ends, what I'm expecting is that DIA, the Dow Jones, is completing a fifth wave higher, and that's going to line up with what we're seeing on Disney, JetBlue, and Delta Airlines. But what happens when we get to 382? Well, I personally will be looking to correct this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulse, and I'll be looking for an ABC correction, and that lines up with what we're seeing on Disney as well as JetBlue. But for now, I think the most important thing is to understand the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 4 low in the next 2.5 months will take the Dow Jones ETF DIA to 382, and that is well past what we have called the larger degree destination, which is the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low, which is 372. So to me, DIA has a very clear path to 382. Let's look at one more thing before we move on. What is this called? Where we have a large impulse, we consolidate sideways, and then we go on another leg higher that's at least the length of the prior impulse. Well, this is called a bull flag, and I think that's going to be pretty important to understand when we look at the SPY chart. But let's just keep that in the back of our minds. Let's look at this Disney chart. What am I talking about? This possible, end of this quarter sell-off, the end of this quarter. So we're talking about 2.5 months, 3 months from now. Okay, not today, but I think that this is a pretty important thing to kind of look forward to for the end of this quarter. Disney has a wave 1 and a wave 2. It then has a wave 3 impulse that is very cleanly subdivided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. So just like the Dow Jones ETF DIA, this is a 2.5 month rally. We're going to place this 2.5 month rally at this wave 4 low, and that gives a fifth wave target of 216 in about 2.5, 3 months. So Disney, like the Dow Jones ETF DIA, I'm expecting will complete a fifth wave higher to at least 216. Now, what happens when Disney reaches 216 to, let's say, 230, okay? You don't call the top, you don't short Disney, okay? You never short a corrective structure. But what I would be looking for is an A, B, C correction to correct this 5-wave cycle. And Disney, with the airlines, would be a generational buying opportunity when it completes this A, B, C correction. I think that's why it's really important that you need to get it out of your system. If you say, I'm a growth stock investor, or, even just like I'm in any one sector investor, because you are about to miss out on a lot of opportunity in the value side of the market, okay? If your whole portfolio is in growth stocks and software stocks and clean energy stocks, then you're gonna have plenty of quarters like last quarter where value has really taken the lead, but you're also gonna miss out on a lot of incredible opportunities in the travel and leisure stocks and even some of these industrial names. And I think Disney is gonna be a perfect example of that. It goes on a wave 1, 2, 3, and 4. If Disney is above this wave 4 zone of 155 to 166, I really don't think this wave 4 low of 167 gets broken, to be honest. But the invalidation for a wave 4 is the 50% retracement of 155. The 38.2% retracement of 166 is also a level we want to see hold. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 4 low takes Disney 2.5 months from now, towards the end of the quarter, to 216. Then we have an ABC correction, which would be a generational buying opportunity. So let's look at JetBlue and Delta Airlines. They're sending a very similar message. So Delta Airlines has a wave 1 and wave 2. It has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulse to put in a larger degree wave 3 at the 161.8% retracement. It has an ABC correction to put in a wave 4 low between the 38.2 and the 23.6% retracement. So if Delta Airlines is above about 38 to 41, I think this is another instance where this wave 1 high is 37. So the wave 1 high will often also act as an invalidation for a wave 4 low. I love when the 50% retracement of wave 3 lines up with the wave 1 high. So if we're above about 38 to 37, this is still valid. And we're going to go the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 4 low. And I'm expecting a pretty, swift melt up in the airlines that will take Delta Airlines to about 62. I think pretty conservatively, this will happen by the end of this quarter. And then what happens when we get on this 5th wave higher? Well, that's going to complete a larger degree wave 1, which I'll put in red. And then it's also, going to be setting up pretty similar to Disney for a generational wave 2 buying opportunity. So I think that this is another stock very similar to Disney, where towards the end of the quarter, we have a 5th wave higher. And then we have this wave 2 buying opportunity, towards the end of this year, where an ABC correction has been complete. So wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, wave 4, a 5th wave higher to about 62 will complete this 5 waves impulse. That will become a larger degree wave 1. Then we're looking for, just like Disney, an A, B, C correction to correct that cycle and offer a generational buying opportunity for Delta Airlines. JetBlue is a pretty similar phenomenon, where we're looking for a 5th wave higher. We have a wave 1, an ABC correction puts in a wave 2 low. We go on a wave 3 impulse at the 161.8% extension of wave 1. We have an ABC correction right at that 38.2% retracement. And that's where I believe wave 4 is ending. Just like Delta Airlines, we have 2 invalidation levels. The 50% retracement of wave 3 is 15.79, which coincides with the high of wave 1. So if we're above 15.62 to about 15.79, I expect that JetBlue will go the length of wave 1, placed at this wave 2 low, and it will go to 26 to complete that 5th wave higher. Then, just like Delta Airlines, just like Disney, towards the end of this quarter, we'd be looking for an ABC correction to complete that 5 waves rally. So that's JetBlue. I want to talk about Lincoln National Corp, just so we have a financial in here. The financials were really driving the stock market. So let's just make sure we have one financial. This is not really a great setup in my opinion. And here's why. If you go to the price overview on bar chart, you can see the IV percentile and the IV rank is pretty high. Okay, normally if both of these numbers are above 10%, the option buyer is really at a disadvantage from the option seller. I like to see both of these numbers pretty well below 5%. And that's also going to make sure that the stock is actually ready to move. But if we look at Lincoln National Corp right now, I think it's important to have a financial under our belt where we have a wave 1, an ABC correction puts in a wave 2 low. We have this textbook wave 3 that goes to the 161.8% extension of wave 1. We have a wave 4 ending at the 23.6% retracement. Then kind of like the rest of these stocks, 2.5, 3 months from now, the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low takes LNC on a 5th wave higher as high as 93. So like I said, I don't think LNC is a great setup here, but I do think it's important to have a financial under our belt, that we have a projection for. And I think this is a pretty clear setup. If we're above the 38.2% retracement, to, I would say, the wave 1 high, so we're above 50 to 55. I think LNC's put in this wave 4 low. It goes on a 5th wave higher as high as 93. And I think that would also be about 2.5 or 3 months from now. But I don't think it's a great setup because implied volatility in the options market is very high. So here is the Nasdaq. I think the Nasdaq is a pretty clear view of, kind of where this market is going. We have a wave 1, an ABC correction puts in a wave 2 low. We have another wave 1, an ABC correction puts in another wave 2 low, right at the 61.8 to 78.6% retracement. So the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low takes QQQ to very conservatively 351. Now, I think 351 is really going to be conservative, and the reason is because of Nvidia, what we're seeing on Nvidia. So I think the textbook wave 3 target, which is the 161.8% extension of wave 1, will be hit for this wave 3. That's 364 for QQQ. So my next target for the Nasdaq is 364. I don't think it's a great setup right here. It's already had this huge reaction, from my kind of wave 2 retracement zone. But I think it's important to know, 351 to 364, that's kind of the next wave 3 target. I think 364 gets reached. Then what happens? Well, we'll have a wave 4, a shallow wave 4 correction, and I'd still be looking for a 5th wave higher. So really, I think conservatively, QQQ has more upside to about 378, and that's also lining up with what we talked about in the Dow Jones ETF DIA, it going about 30 or 40 points higher. So that's QQQ. Why do I think it's really kind of in the books that it's going to reach that 161.8% extension target of 364? Well, because we have a really nice leading indicator right now, which is Nvidia, where we have a wave 1, an ABC correction puts in a wave 2 low. We have another wave 1, an ABC correction puts in another wave 2 low at the 61.8% retracement. So, I think this was a pretty interesting learning opportunity because we had this 61.8% retracement of wave 2 hold, and then once we had that kind of reaction, we had a very clear downtrend line that Nvidia broke above impulsively. So a lot of wave theorists, they'll use these downtrend lines to contain their corrective structures, and when kind of their wave 2 target has been reached, they'll use these big kind of breaks of that downtrend to help confirm, yes, wave 2 is in, wave 3 is in progress. In Nvidia's case, that was very helpful for us. We knew the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low gave a conservative target for Nvidia of about 695. That was conservative, and it actually went all the way to the 161.8% extension of wave 1, which is 746. So, Nvidia, it reached the textbook wave 3 target, which is the 161.8% extension of wave 1. So that's why I think, QQQ, is really going to hit that 161.8% extension target of 364 as well. We'll also talk about Apple, Microsoft, and Amazon right now. I don't think Nvidia is a great setup. I don't think it's topped either. I think there's a lot better opportunities in the stock market right now. We'll go over Qualcomm right now as a semiconductor setup. I just want to throw in Nvidia here just to show it's reached the 161.8% extension target of wave 1, which is about 746. So that's why I think QQQ is also going to reach its 161.8% extension target, which is 364. Let's get into some other components. So we had a pretty big development this week, right? And this is why you really have to look at the market as a whole, right? It didn't really make sense that people were calling for a crash in the market when, all these big tech stocks were making new highs. And we have, yesterday a pretty great development that was, built on today where Microsoft broke above the wave 1 high. It confirmed that it is in a wave 3 impulse. So Microsoft had a wave 1 and a wave 2. It went on another wave 1, which we predicted, and had an ABC correction. It put in a wave 2 low right at the 61.8% retracement. So the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low gives a conservative wave 3 target of 277. Okay, and right now we have broken above this wave 1 high. To me, this is confirmed. Wave 3 is in progress. The conservative wave 3 target is 277. The textbook wave 3 target, which is the 161.8% extension of wave 1 from Microsoft, is 287. So I think Microsoft has clearly more upside to about 277 to 287. That wouldn't even be the top. That would be the wave 3 high. We'd have a shallow wave 4 correction. We'd go on a 5th wave higher to 302, because that would be the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low. Now, what's important about having a path on Microsoft that takes it to 302? Well, it's pretty similar to what we talked about with the Dow Jones ETF DIA, where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulse to complete a larger degree wave 1. We have an ABC correction to put in a larger degree wave 2. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low gave a destination for Microsoft of 296. And now on the smaller degree, we have a pretty clear path for how we're going to get there. So that's Microsoft. Here is Amazon. I think Amazon's going to be the next nail in the coffin. I mean, it might already be, but you know, this is a pretty big fork in the bear's case, in my opinion, where Amazon has a wave 1 and a wave 2, a wave 3, a wave 4, and a wave 5 to put in a larger degree wave 1. It has an A, B, C correction to put in a large degree wave 2, which was at exactly the 61.8% retracement, right? So people, they're like, wave 3 doesn't work. I'm like, you have to know that's the 61.8% retracement of wave 1. That's where a wave 2 ends. Right, everyone's bored of Amazon, right? Just boring people to tears, and then boom, just a massive wave 3 rally. And we have the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 2 low. That gives a very conservative target of 3,802 for Amazon's wave 3. Okay, that's the extremely conservative wave 3 target. Even then, we have a shallow wave 4 correction. We go on a 5th wave higher, which is at least the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low. That would take Amazon as high as 4,230. So I'm really excited for when Amazon breaks above this high of 3,554. You know, like Microsoft, it will confirm this wave 3 is in progress, which we already know, right? This is a huge impulse. We get to 3,802. We have a shallow wave 4 correction. We go on a 5th wave higher. I don't have a path that doesn't take Amazon to 4,200 at least. And I think that's very bullish. Another stock, you know, we're seeing Apple is following, right? This is kind of what we thought, was that Apple had the exact same dates. The exact same dates as Amazon, where it went on a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large degree wave 1 impulse, had an ABC correction, put in a large degree wave 2 at the 61.8 to 78.6% retracement zone. Okay, pay attention to these levels when we talk about the cryptocurrencies, right? They got these reactions. And we have the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 2 low. That takes Apple to about 143. That's extremely conservative. I believe Apple, just like Nvidia, just like what I'm expecting for QQQ, will go past, you know, the conservative wave 3 target. It will go all the way to the textbook wave 3 target, which is 149. We'd have a shallow wave 4 correction. We'd go on a 5th wave higher. And it takes Apple to about 160, 165. But Apple looks really good to reach this textbook wave 3 target of 149. It, like, you know, Amazon, like Microsoft, is going to break above this wave 1 high, confirm a wave 3 in progress. And I believe, like Nvidia, will go past the conservative wave 3 target. It will go all the way to the textbook wave 3 target of 149. That wouldn't be the top. We have a shallow and sideways wave 4. We go on a 5th wave higher. So very excited for Apple. Let's talk about the S&P 500 right now. Now that we've gone over all those stocks. Okay, what's really the only difference between the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones ETF DIA? Well, there's really only a few. If we look on the larger degree first, it's pretty similar. We have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a large degree wave 1. We have an ABC correction. We put in a large degree wave 2. So the length of wave 1, which is also the first leg of a bull flag, placed at this wave 2 low, will take the S&P 500 to about 460. I believe 460 will be reached this summer. So that's looking good. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low gives a destination of 460. Like we talked about on the Dow Jones ETF DIA, we have its path that will get us to about 460. So if we look at the smaller degree count, there's a pretty key difference. So the first big difference is that the Dow Jones ETF DIA makes a new low below that September 24th, September 25th low. Okay, the S&P 500 does not. But the other bigger difference that we're going to get to is if we look right now, SPY has not yet reached the length of the wave 1 from the election placed at the wave 2 low. I think that's pretty important. So SPY has not yet reached the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low. And so what I'm expecting right now is that we are within a a larger degree wave 3 on SPY, which is wave 1, wave 2, wave 3, and wave 4. And I believe that fifth wave target should be at least 434. Now, I don't think 434 is a place to call for a major top. That would be the conservative wave 3 target. Now, this is where I think it's really important that we trade the market as a whole, because what did we just talk about on the Dow Jones ETF DIA? We talked about how it has a pretty clear setup right now that is a bull flag setup, right? Remember, the length of this rally placed at the wave 4 low is going to be, what we're expecting for this wave 5 higher. And we also look at this right now. This is a textbook bull flag that the Dow Jones ETF forms from the January low to the high that we make in, early May. And then we take the length of the first leg of the bull flag and we place it at the wave 4 low. The fifth wave target gives a bull flag equal legs target for the Dow Jones ETF DIA to 382. So when we look at SPY right now, I don't think it's right to say that we're going to, just stop on a dime at the conservative wave 3 target. I think what's better to do right now, look at SPY as kind of, a part of the Dow Jones and look at the other components that we've just talked about in this video, because I think this is really the best way to play SPY right now, is that this is also a bull flag that we're forming on the S&P 500. And we're going to have this sideways, consolidation right now. And what I'm really expecting is that this wave 5 target, on the smaller degree will not be, the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 4 low. I believe it's going to be the length of wave 3 placed at the wave 4 low, which would really line up with what we're seeing on the Dow Jones ETF DIA. It would really line up with what we're seeing on a lot of these Nasdaq components. And this wave 5 on the smaller degree will not end until we go all the way to about 455. Then we'd have a shallow wave 4 correction. We go on a fifth wave higher. The bottom line is, I think right now that the Dow Jones ETF DIA is going to be a better guide for us than the S&P 500. But there's one thing that we can get from it. This is a very clean, wave theory count, as well as a classical trading count, where this is the first leg of a bull flag from mid-February to early May. Okay, the length of this rally placed at this low, this consolidation low that we just had in mid-June, gives the Dow Jones ETF, a bull flag conservative wave 5 target of 382. I think when we look at the S&P 500 right now, this is going to be our guide, where this is also a bull flag that's being formed, the length of wave 3 placed at the wave 4 low. SPY continues to hold above 403, 404. I'm expecting a fifth wave target higher to at least 455. Okay, and that wouldn't be the top. That would complete this larger degree wave 3. We'd have a shallow wave 4 correction. We would go on a fifth wave higher. But I really think right now the Dow Jones ETF DIA is going to be a better guide for us than SPY. I think the Nasdaq QQQ will also be a better guide for us than SPY. And when it gets to the 161.8% extension of wave 1, and it reaches this high of about 364, that's going to be the place where we look for a wave 3 to end. Then we look for a wave 4 correction before we go on a fifth wave higher. I think that's really going to line up with what we see on SPY, where SPY goes on a wave 1 and a wave 2. This is a wave 3 and a wave 4. I believe wave 5 will not be the length of wave 1. I believe it will be the length of wave 3 placed at this wave 4 low. And this, we're really going to take a beeline to that 460 destination target this summer. We're going to hold above 403. We're going to reach 455. So right now, I believe if the S&P 500 holds above 404 to 403, this wave 4 is in, and we're still looking for a fifth wave higher, but I don't believe it's going to be the length of wave 1. I believe it's going to be the length of wave 3, placed at the wave 4 low. And while the Dow Jones ETF DIA is on that fifth wave higher to 382, SPY is going to be on a fifth wave higher to about 455. Okay, and that's also going to coincide with what we're seeing on the Nasdaq QQQ, where we reach 364, have a shallow wave 4 correction, go on a fifth wave higher. So that is SPY. Let's talk about two setups I really like in the stock market right now. Here is Procter & Gamble. I love Procter & Gamble right here. I almost think that Procter & Gamble and Qualcomm are the pair trade of the decade. I'm just kidding. But anyway, I just think they group well together because one's kind of a semiconductor stock, one's kind of a really safe value name, and they both have very pretty setups. They also both have the same, price right now of about 133. So why is Procter & Gamble, why is it really getting my attention in this video? Well, recently, and this is where implied volatility will really help you as a trader. We look, and right now, the 1 year low for Procter & Gamble's implied volatility was reached yesterday, okay? So yesterday, these two numbers for the IV percentile and the IV rank were both 0, okay? And I think that's really important because implied volatility hit an absolute trough. Now, does that guarantee that Procter & Gamble will go higher? No. But what it does kind of quote-unquote guarantee is that Procter & Gamble is going to have a large move, okay? It is ready to break out of this consolidation and have a large move higher. What we then do as wave theorists is, we figure out which direction that move is going to be. But waiting for implied volatility to reach the 0% IV rank and 0% IV percentile will make sure you're only in stocks that are actually going to move, okay? You're not going to get just completely chopped sideways by sideways consolidation. So Procter & Gamble has a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large degree wave 1. We have an A, B, C correction. We put in a large degree wave 2. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low is going to take Procter & Gamble to 174. I think it with Walmart will reach that target pretty conservatively by the end of this year. Because we see this rally is from 324, to about 1109. About 7 months, about 8 months, 7.5 months. But remember, in Elliott wave theory, wave 3 is stronger and faster than the length of wave 1. We also have a pretty nice pitchfork right now. We're reacting off the lower bound of the pitchfork. I think we're ready to go to the median of the pitchfork. If Procter & Gamble is above, 125 to 128, with this low for wave 2 of 121 being the invalidation, the length of wave 1 placed at the wave 2 low will take it to 174. I'm looking for that by the end of the year, very conservatively in the first month or two of 2022. It's got a pretty similar, it's not really like a similar name. I don't know why I'm really conflating these two. I just think they go together well because one's kind of a semiconductor stock. It's a tech stock. The other one's a value stock, and they're both $133, $135. So, I think Qualcomm and Procter & Gamble are a pretty nice pair. We have a wave 1 that is a leading diagonal for Qualcomm, and then this is a pretty clear leading diagonal. We have an ABC correction. We put in a wave 2 low. We then go on this massive wave 3 impulse, and we put in an ABC correction to put in wave 4 at exactly the 38.2% retracement. We talked about how I don't believe the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 4 low is the proper target. I believe Qualcomm with advanced micro devices, with a lot of kind of these growth stocks, is actually going to replicate this wave 3 rally placed at the wave 4 low. And I'm looking for it to go all the way to 232. So right now, I think pretty tight. The low of 122 is a nice stop. The invalidation level for a wave 4 is the 50% retracement of wave 3. That's 112. If those levels hold, the length of wave 3 and time and price placed at this wave 4 low will take Qualcomm all the way to 232. I suspect that will happen, pretty early into 2022. I'm looking for in the first quarter of 2022, Qualcomm has gone the length of wave 3, placed at this wave 4 low. We're going to hold above 122. We're definitely going to hold above 112. But really, I think Qualcomm holds above 122, goes on a fifth wave higher to 232. It lines up with what we see in advanced micro devices and Intel. All right, so let's go over some growth stocks. We haven't really talked about ST&E. It's kind of like my growth stock of the day because a lot of stocks, right, we talked about Pinterest in my last video. It's all over the market, right? This is a wave 1, an A, B, C correction puts in a wave 2 low. It has this huge wave 3 impulse, and it's completing wave 4, and it puts in this wick at exactly the 50% retracement. So I think it's pretty interesting. The algos put in that low at exactly the 50% retracement. Because what we'll just talk about right now, that could not be a 3 and a 4. This could be another set of 1-2s. Okay, so what we're actually going to talk about, as crazy as it sounds, will end up being conservative. What this could be is a nest, where this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. I think we can do the more conservative thing right now, say that this is a larger degree wave 3. We're placing this wave 4 at the 50% retracement. It's very similar to the Roku setup, which a lot of people thought was crazy, but I think the length of wave 3 placed at this wave 4 low We'll take STNE. This is a fintech stock. It's pretty similar to PayPal. It's pretty similar to Square Cash, where we hold above this low of 54. We go all the way to 132 for STNE. So this rally is from 330 to about 211. So yes, it's another one where we're looking for a long rally in time and price to be replicated. I think it's another one where in the first quarter of 2022, I'm looking for wave 3, place at the wave 4 low, to complete that fifth wave higher of 132. Now, why am I talking about STNE? Why am I talking about all these growth stocks having huge rallies? It's very similar to what we're seeing in Roku. And of course, it's all going to tie back to Tesla, which we're also about to talk about. But if we look at Roku right now, we have a wave 1, an ABC correction, we put in a wave 2 low. It also goes on a huge wave 3 impulse, and it puts in a wave 4 low right at the 38.2 to 50% retracement. So we've held above 272. We've had this huge impulsive reaction, right? This huge impulsive reaction. By the way, not to, to my own horn, but how did I time this so well? Well, guess what? I went to see when was the implied volatility low hit. Okay, Roku's 1 year implied volatility low was hit on June 11th. That's basically when I posted about it, right? Did that guarantee that Roku was going to go on a huge move to the upside? No. But what it did give was a lot of evidence that Roku was ready for a large move. So when I looked at it, I knew there was pretty little chance that Roku was just going to keep consolidating sideways. I knew it was going to break, one way or to the other, and wave theory helped me determine that break was going to be to the upside. So Roku going very well. The length of wave 3 placed at the wave 4 low, in my opinion, takes Roku all the way to 707. I'm looking for that to be reached in the first quarter of 2022. And what could this also be? It's just like STNE, where wave 4 conveniently ends right at that 50% retracement, leaving in the possibility this is not a 3 and not a 4. It's another wave 1 and another wave 2. And ultimately, 707, as crazy as it sounds, becomes conservative. By the way, Roku's off to a pretty damn good start. Now, why am I talking about Roku? Because Tesla is almost identical. I think it's time to really start looking at this bigger degree picture of Tesla and start taking this very seriously. That this is a wave 1 and a wave 2. We have this huge wave 3 impulse. We have an ABC correction. We put in a wave 4 low at exactly to the dollar is where we are wicking at the 38.2% retracement. So I think right now, if Tesla's above 539, if Tesla is above 546, wave 4 is in. We look at NIO, we look at XPEV, we look at Li Auto. We'll talk about Plug Power. The electric vehicle signals are, flashing right now. And Tesla's not going to be left behind in this rally, okay? If wave 5 were the length of wave 4, then Tesla would not make a new high, okay? I don't believe Tesla's wave 5 will be the length of wave 4. I believe it, like Roku, will be the length of wave 3 placed at this wave 4 low. This huge rally, yes, it's a long time. It's about 10 months. But it's placed at the wave 4 low, and we've already kind of, eaten off a lot of time from that with this wave 1 and wave 2 being complete, which we'll look at on the smaller degree. But I believe Tesla is within wave 5 right now. It has completed wave 1 of wave 5 and wave 2 of wave 5. It's about to explode into wave 3, 4, and 5 of wave 5. I think ultimately the length of wave 3 placed at this wave 4 low, once again in the first quarter of 2022, very conservatively will take Tesla to 1,370. Now, how are we going to get there? I think that's another important thing to look at, because I think the path to get there is right in front of us, where, let me make sure I have these numbers right for my extensions. But if we look right now, Tesla has a wave 1 that ends at 780.79. So we go to our Fibonacci tool, we do 780.79. And then the wave 2 low is put in right here at 546. So I believe Tesla completes an ABC correction. It puts in a wave 4 low at 539.49. So 539.49. And then what's really going on is Tesla is getting ready for this wave 3 higher. Okay, so as long as we're above 546 to about 539, I think a larger degree wave 4 is in. I think on the smaller degree, wave 1 and wave 2 is complete. Tesla is getting ready to make a huge break of this downtrend line and go on this swift wave 3 higher to about 929, then would have a shallow wave 4 correction and go on a 5th wave higher. Really, I would be very surprised if we woke up in July and Tesla, was not at 929, okay, the end of July. But I think, pretty conservatively, I'm expecting this huge rally in Tesla, about 300 points higher to happen, pretty early into this summer. And that's going to be conservative. We'll have a shallow wave 4, and then we'll go on a 5th wave higher. But I think ultimately, right now, it's time to zoom out on the larger degree counts, look at what's happening in NIO, XPEV, Li Auto, a lot of these electric vehicle stocks, and say Tesla is ready for this huge rally where the length of wave 3 placed at this wave 4 low will take it all the way to 1370. And right now, the warning signs are flashing. Tesla's 1 year implied volatility low was hit about 4 or 5 days ago on June 17th. No, that does not guarantee that Tesla's going to have a large move to the upside, but it does provide a lot of evidence. Tesla has bored every retail trader to death, and it is ready for this huge move. I think it's going to be to the upside. I'm looking for in July. Tesla has reached 929, had a shallow wave 4 correction, and gone on a 5th wave higher. So that's Tesla. I also think that really lines up with what we're seeing on Apple, where Apple and Tesla, they lure everyone to sleep, right? They lure everyone to sleep for the whole quarter, and then boom, as soon as this new quarter starts, Apple and Tesla and Amazon emerge as big leaders. I think Apple and Tesla are ready to move together. I would throw Advanced Micro Devices in that group as well, of stocks that consolidated for the entire second quarter. And now this third quarter's begun, and they're ready for their huge summer rallies, okay? So that's Apple, that's Tesla. I want to talk about ACB, and I want to talk about Tilray real quick. These are pot stocks. They're extremely risky. I just think that they're important right now to talk about because they're, other forms of growth stocks that are looking like, they're going to do very well. So I believe ACB, Aurora Cannabis, is a better setup potentially than Tilray, where this is a leading diagonal. And then we have that completing a wave 1, and we have an A, B, C correction. We put in a wave 2 low at the 78.6% retracement. So that's where wave 2 ends. So if Aurora Cannabis is above 6.59, I believe wave 2 is in. I believe we're getting ready for a wave 3 higher for ACB. So the wave 3 target is the length of wave 1, placed at the wave 2 low. It looks like it's forming a huge base right now. This is the left side of the base. We're going to go form the right side of the base, form a cup and handle, and then shoot higher. But right now, I can see these pot stocks taking another leg higher. They're pretty, risky. I think they're important to understand, as growth stock investors in general, about this, 3, 4, 5 month rally. Really this is about 4 months. So I can see the, towards the end of this year, pretty conservatively, Aurora Cannabis has replicated this rally and gone the length of wave 1, placed at the wave 2 low. I think Aurora Cannabis by the end of the year, as crazy as it sounds, has gone on another leg higher to 21. It's a very risky setup, and I think it has to make sure that it holds above 6.59. But I think it's interesting that ACB and Tilray are setting up because it fits in a lot with what we're seeing in these growth stocks right now. Tilray, I would pick ACB over Tilray, just because the implied volatility in the options market is significantly lower on Aurora Cannabis. But this is another one that I think is setting up where we have this wave 1 impulse, we have this ABC correction, this wave 2 kickout wave, and then both ACB and Tilray, I believe, have put in wave 2 lows at the 78.6% retracement. So the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low is going to take Tilray, with ACB on another leg higher. I think it's important just to know where the pot stocks are going. They're extremely risky investments. They have, probably the highest beta of, a lot of stocks that I cover. But this rally from 925 to about 210, it's about 4, 5, 6 months. And I think that's where we get by the end of the year. The pot stocks have gone on this wave 3 higher. Now, Tilray's wave 3 target is 76. Like I said, I don't think that we really need to be trading Tilray to 76 or Aurora Cannabis to 21, but I wanted to include them in this video. I get some questions about them. They're at the 78.6% retracement. If Tilray is above 13.41, I believe that wave 2 is in for both of these, and they're ready to take another leg higher. I think more important than, trading Tilray and ACB is just making sure, that we kind of have an idea of where these pot stocks are going, because they're, often traded with the growth stocks in this market, where the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low would really coincide with what we're seeing across the growth sector. I think the pot stocks would be a beneficiary of that, where Tilray eventually is going to break above this high. I like ACB better in this group. I just want to include the pot stocks as well. But I think by the end of the year, ACB and Tilray have taken another leg higher. I like ACB more, Just because when you go to the price overview, or at least yesterday, the implied volatility rank and percentile is very low for ACB. That will typically, signal that an option buyer will be, at a more advantage than an option seller. And then when, the implied volatility rank and percentile is above 10, 15%, a lot of times the option seller is at a huge advantage because the premiums are going to be a lot more expensive. But ACB, to me, this is a wave one. We have an ABC correction. We put in a wave two low. And I think, we're going to see 6.59 hold as the wave too low. The length of wave one placed at the wave too low. We'll take ACB to about 21. Honestly, I think that happens by the end of the year. I'm not going to trade ACB. I'm not going to trade Tilray. But I just think that, a lot of people ask me about these. And they are growth stocks, so it's important to know where the growth stocks are going. Same like Bloom Energy. I actually think this is a pretty setup right here where we have a wave one and a wave two. This huge wave. I believe this is actually another wave one impulse. We have an ABC correction. We put in a wave too low at the 61.8% retracement. The length of wave one, placed at this wave too low, takes Bloom Energy all the way to 60. This is one that's looking pretty. It's starting to firm up. This rally from 316 to about 208, it really lines up with what we're seeing in a lot of these growth stocks, where in the first quarter of 2022, all these stocks have replicated their 2020 rallies. And I think Bloom Energy is another example of that. We go on a wave one and ABC correction, puts in a wave too low. The length of wave one placed at the wave too low. If Bloom Energy holds above 18.40, we'll take it all the way to about 60.50 for that wave three target. I think that's hit, pretty conservatively in the first quarter of 2022. Another one, I like this price action today. Plug Power, they reported earnings, and it resolved in a huge move to the upside. Now, Plug Power was on our watch list. I actually didn't even know their earnings were coming up, but the options market did, because I was using the options market to time the entry. And right now, the implied volatility rank and percentile was at 0%. It must have gone a little lower today, but I posted about, Plug Power. When the IV rank and percentile were at 0%, the options market knew a huge move was coming. That must have been in anticipation of earnings. And I believe that move, the wave theory was very, very clear. It was going to be to the upside, and we're seeing this huge, this huge reaction right now, this huge move that the options market is telling us is coming, I believe is resolving to the upside right in front of us. So Plug Power, is another one from 316 to about 125, where in the first quarter of 2022, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves impulse from 2020 is replicated. The length of wave one placed at this wave too low takes Plug Power to 91. Okay, so I believe Plug Power ultimately does hold that 78.6% wave two retracement low, about 18.47 goes the length of wave one placed at the wave two low. I'm looking for Plug Power to reach 91. I think that will conservatively happen, in the first quarter of 2022 for this wave three target, and it's all over the growth stocks, that we've gone over, where this huge rally gets replicated in time and price, placed at that low from the second quarter of 2021. So I want to talk about cryptocurrencies a lot, because, we talk about stocks replicating huge rallies. I think this is another example. So let's talk about Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin, if we look at the bigger picture, has a pretty clear wave one and wave two. It then has another wave one and another wave two. We talk about it in this kind of 10,000 range, and then it has this explosive move higher. Okay, so what is this explosive move higher? A lot of people are going to be tempted to say that this is a, wave 3, 4, and 5, and so we're ending kind of the super cycle, right? And then, Bitcoin's done. I don't think that's the case. I think that this is another wave one. We have an ABC correction, and we're putting in a wave too low right now, right between the 61.8 and the 50% retracement. This kind of view will become pretty clear when we look at Ripple. When we look at Litecoin, when we look at a lot of other stocks, or a lot of other cryptocurrencies, I should say, in this sector. But I believe Bitcoin has a wave one, and ABC correction puts in a wave too low. We're right at the 61.8 to 50% retracement of wave one. I think the length of wave one placed at this wave too low is going to take Bitcoin, as crazy as it sounds, to about 90,000. And I really think that's going to get hit very early into 2022. Now, the thing is, this is a wave three impulse that I'm expecting. So as wild as it sounds, it will actually be stronger and faster than the length of wave one, placed at the wave too low. We'll have a shallow wave four correction. We'll go on a fifth wave higher. Now, for Bitcoin, we really want to see that 61.8% retracement of 27,000, hold. And that's really a level that we want to trade above. Now, would it be the end of the world if Bitcoin broke above that level? Not necessarily, but it'd be a pretty dangerous level to trade below, because the next level would be the 78.6% retracement of about 16,950. That's a pretty steep drop from the 61.8% retracement. So I think right now we really want to see, Bitcoin continue to be contained between the 61.8 and the 50% retracement, which is about 27K, the 34K, and we'll see it go the length of wave one, placed at this wave too low. I'm looking for a huge rally and in cryptocurrencies, and I think Bitcoin going to 90,000, is not out of the question. I think it's going to happen in the first quarter of 2022, very conservatively. I think this wave three is going to just blow a lot of people away, and then we have a shallow wave four correction. We go on a fifth wave higher. We'll be talking about Bitcoin in the six-figure range, and it makes a lot of sense. They're getting everyone off the bus before that rally to 100K happens. And I do believe it will happen. If we look at Ethereum right now, it's a pretty similar story, very similar count even, where if we look at the larger degree picture, kind of the 10-year chart, a wave one and a wave two, we break above this high. So what is this high? Is this the wave one or wave two? Is it a wave three or a wave four? Well, no matter how you count it, I believe it's incomplete to the upside. This is really only 1, 2, 3, 4 swings. I'm looking for a fifth wave higher, no matter how you count it. But I think the better way to count it is not to say that this is a wave three and a wave four, because if you look right now at Ethereum, we're at, the 61.8% retracement, which is 1,720. I believe that's that's a good place for a wave two to end. And we're really, I don't like to say words like do or die, but if we see Ethereum below, the 61.8% retracement, it'd be pretty dangerous to trade below. Just Ethereum specifically, because the 78.6% retracement, that would be the next downside level for a wave two to end. That's all the way down at 1,000. So I think, trading Ethereum below 1,720, trading Bitcoin, below 27K could be dangerous, not because it would be the end of the super cycle, but because the 78.6% retracement is a pretty steep drop from there. So I want to see this wave two hold at the 61.8% retracement. I want to see the length of wave one placed at this wave too low. Continue to hold as a wave three target. I'm looking for Ethereum to go on a run to 6,016. I think very conservatively, like Bitcoin, that happens early into 2022. The only problem with Ethereum below 1,720, if it happens, I like that we're wicking right here. The only real problem with that is that the 78.6% retracement is pretty far down. So I think Bitcoin's best to trade above 27K. I think Ethereum is best to trade above, 1,720, and if we are, then that's a huge opportunity where the length of wave one placed at this wave too low takes Ethereum to 6,016. Now, Litecoin is a pretty similar story, but I think Litecoin's a lot better evidence, that we've had for a while. We look at Litecoin right now. This is really a lot of evidence, in my opinion, that, the cryptocurrency cycle is not done. We'll talk about Ripple too, but Litecoin has a wave one, an ABC correction puts in a wave too low. It has another wave one and another wave two. So we look right now, if we connect the low of wave one with the high of wave one and the low of wave two, Litecoin has very pretty reactions on the meeting of this pitchfork. I believe that for this larger degree, wave three to be complete for Litecoin, we're going to have to go all the way to the median of this pitchfork. I definitely don't think it's enough that we just kind of barely break the wave one high, right? I don't think there's any way a large degree wave three ends slightly above the wave one high. I think right now, if we look at Litecoin, we're actually already at the 78.6% retracement for Litecoin. If we turn on the 78.6% retracement for Litecoin, that's basically where we are. Litecoin's essentially at the 78.6% retracement of 107. And I think Litecoin's another one where it's a wave one and a wave two, and this kind of has to be a wave two. You can't really call, a wave three and a wave four if it goes past the 50% retracement of, the impulse structure. So we're at the 78.6% retracement for Litecoin. Litecoin above 107, to me, is a huge opportunity. The length of wave one placed at this wave too low takes Litecoin all the way to about 495, like Ethereum, like Bitcoin. I think that happens very early into 2022. I think that happens, really conservatively, because that's just the conservative wave three target. Wave three and LA wave three is stronger and faster than the length of wave one. We have a shallow wave four. We go on a fifth wave higher. Let's talk about Ripple real quick. Ripple, I think, is pretty similar to Litecoin, where you look at the chart and it's just kind of incomplete, right? That's really the only way to say it. We talk about Ripple in that 22 cent range. It has about, a 500, 600% rally. If we look at Ripple right now, wave one, an ABC correction puts in a wave too low, we take the beginning that we connect with our Andrews pitchfork, the beginning of wave 1 with the high of wave 1 and the low of wave 2, we have a gorgeous reaction on the median of the pitchfork. Then we go sideways, right? Pitchforks don't work. Boom, a perfect reaction on the lower bound of the pitchfork, right? Oh, no, pitchforks still don't work. Boom, another perfect reaction on the lower bound of the pitchfork. I think Ripple, is kind of incomplete until it goes and it breaks this wave 1 high as well. I believe it will go to the lower bound of the pitchfork and to the median of the pitchfork. I'm not sure there's a setup on Ripple right now, but it looks, very clean that it will continue to go from that below 20 cent, below 30 cent range. And ultimately, I've got Ripple going all the way on a wave 3 higher to at least 3.40 and going to the median of the pitchfork. Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin won't be happening during that time. I think this is important to think about in the bigger picture, that Ripple was being accumulated, while retail couldn't access it on their public exchanges. And then, we have this huge push higher. I think that we're within a larger degree wave 3, and then the minimum target is going to be the median of the pitchfork, and at the very minimum 3.40. So I've got a lot more upside for Ripple, and I think right now we've talked about Bitcoin, we've talked about Ethereum, we talked about Litecoin, and kind of those wave 2 lows that we want to hold are pretty close to the current price. I think right now, if someone is a cryptocurrency bull, Marathon Patent Group and Riot Blockchain are going to be extremely important charts for them. Okay, these are cryptocurrency miners. I'm not reaching here to say that these are going to, be important indicators and move with the other cryptocurrencies, but I think there are a lot of evidence. If we look at Marathon Patent Group and Riot Blockchain, gorgeous 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, large degree wave 1, and ABC correction puts in a large degree wave 2 at the 61.8% retracement, which puts in that wave 2 low. And I think that wave 2 low will hold. We're going to hold above 18.32. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low is going to give a target of wave 3 which is 75. Marathon Patent Group, the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low, I believe we'll take it to 75. Now, very conservatively, in my opinion, that happens in the first quarter of 2022. I think that's actually too conservative because this is a wave 3. So it's actually going to be stronger and faster than the length of wave 1. And it makes sense right now from a psychological perspective. We're getting everyone off the bus before all the crypto mining stocks and all the cryptocurrencies have incredible rallies that will actually dwarf what we saw in 2020. So we look right here. This whole rally for Marathon Patent Group is from 921 to 405. That's about 6 or 7 months. And as crazy as it sounds, it may not take until the first quarter of 2022. It may happen towards the end of the year where we see this whole rally get replicated in time and price for a conservative wave 3 target of about 74 to 75. I think Marathon Patent Group, yes, it's a great opportunity, but everyone interested in cryptocurrency is going to want to see this low of 18.32 hold confirm this wave 2 is in, and we're going on a monster wave 3 rally higher. Very similar story to that is Riot Blockchain. If we look at Riot Blockchain, it's almost identical. It's a very pretty setup where this is a huge wave 1. We have an ABC correction. We put in a wave 2 low, exactly where, we're between the 61.8 and the 78.6% retracement. So if Riot Blockchain is above 20, yes, I know that's wide. That's just how growth stocks work. If Riot Blockchain is above 20, wave 2 is in, okay? There's a lot of evidence wave 2 is in, not just because we're past the 61.8 and 78.6% retracement, but because the length of wave A placed at the wave B high is where, we got that perfect turnaround for wave C. I don't believe Riot Blockchain will go below 20. I believe that wave 2 is in. And just like Marathon Patent Group, we're looking for the length of wave 1. We're looking for the length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low to be reached for a conservative wave 3 target. Now, what's really interesting about Riot Blockchain when we look at this chart is that this whole rally for wave 1, this is from 9/24, September 24th of 2020 to 2/17, February 17th. That's less than 6 months, right? And so when we talk about, these large rallies being replicated, I think we will see that the first quarter of 2022 is very conservative, and a lot of these rallies will be replicated by the end of the year. And right now, just like we want to see Marathon Patent Group above 18, cryptocurrency bulls really want to see Riot Blockchain hold above 20. Yes, I know that seems far away. These are growth stocks. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low will take Riot Blockchain to 98. Okay, so more than tripling to the upside, or and then less than a 30% drop to the downside. Okay, so it's still a 10-to-1 ratio, but still, I think Riot Blockchain is, it's a pretty good setup. I like Marathon Patent Group a little more, but I think it's really important for, cryptocurrency investors to watch and make sure, yes, Marathon Patent Group is going to hold above 18 and Riot Blockchain is going to hold above 20. And when they do, the length of wave one placed at this wave too low will take them on huge rallies higher. They could take Riot Blockchain as high as 98. That could happen towards the end of the year. I think very conservatively that happens in the first quarter of 2022. Let's go over some other stocks. SOS Limited, I think, is another one where you're looking at, kind of a crazy rally being replicated. If we look at the bigger picture for SOS Limited, this is a wave one and a wave two. We have another wave one and another wave two. I'm going to zoom in on the smaller degree count, but the important thing is this is the wave one and a wave two. So what is this? Is this a 3 and a 4? I don't think that's a 3 and a 4. I think this is another wave one. We have an ABC correction. We're putting in a wave too low. We're at the 78.6% retracement, and the length of wave one placed at this wave too low really lines up with SOS Limited going all the way to 17. And we're seeing in these charts huge rallies get replicated in time and price. Now, this rally for SOS Limited is just crazy. It's from 123 to 217, less than 3 months, okay? And I don't think that should be the target, but I think it's another example of when we talk about these huge rallies for cryptocurrencies being replicated, they can happen a lot quicker than we think. Okay, so I think pretty tight right now. We want to see SOS Limited above 2.75. The way wider invalidation is this larger degree wave too low of 1.21. SOS Limited, very risky setup. I think pretty tight, 2.75 holds as the low. The length of wave one placed at this wave too low. As crazy as it sounds, we're talking about SOS Limited in the teens, in the 17 area for this wave three target. We have a shallow wave four correction. We have a fifth wave higher. Just like, all the other cryptocurrencies we talked about, I think that conservatively will happen in the first quarter of 2022. And we could definitely be talking about it towards the end of the year. EBON, I just wanted to talk about. I still like it a lot. I'm still holding it, but this is EBON. I still believe it's completed a wave one. We have an A, B, C correction. The length of wave A placed at the wave B high takes EBON all the way down, on a wave two low of 2.37. I think this is another one. We want to see EBON hold above 2.37. If it does, I think this is a huge bottoming play from that IPO. And I think, when we see this huge wave three rally get replicated very conservatively, EBON's going to go with the rest of these cryptocurrencies, the rest of these crypto mining stocks, and it's going to at least break, that wave one high of about 14.95, call it 15. And right now I want to see this low of about 2.37 hold. I think it's another one where we're looking for monster rallies pretty conservatively by the first quarter of 2022. I want to go over Dogecoin and XLM. It should go without saying, these are extremely, extremely risky, things. Okay. I'm not even going to say, that these are opportunities. Okay. These are extremely risky, but I think that you have to look at these because they're at a pretty important place right now. Dogecoin has a monster rally from the beginning of the year all the way to, early to mid-May that is clearly an impulse structure, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large degree wave one impulse. That's 5 months, 4 months of a wave one rally. We have an ABC correction. There's no way to count this other than it's a wave too low. I think Dogecoin, if we see it above 15 cents, that's the 78.6% retracement. The length of wave one placed at the wave too low is another example where by the end of the year, Dogecoin could reach 89 cents. And pretty conservatively, I expect that will happen by the first quarter of 2022. So Dogecoin, extremely risky. Definitely not an opportunity. This is probably riskier than a stock option, but I think if you're a cryptocurrency person, you have to kind of look at all these stocks as a whole, and Dogecoin being basically at the 78.6% retracement of this wave one rally is going to be an important indication for you. I think we see Dogecoin above 15 cents. The length of wave one placed at this wave too low gives a wave three target as high as 89 cents. We have to look at all the cryptocurrencies as a puzzle, and that's where Stellar Lumen's going to come in. This is another one, very small cap, extremely risky cryptocurrency. Okay, not an opportunity, but a gauge for the cryptocurrency market right now, where it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 large degree wave one. We have an ABC correction. We're putting in a large degree wave two between the 61.8 and the 78.6% retracement. The length of wave one placed at this wave too low. This whole rally is actually longer than a year, right? So XLM, this is kind of supporting the idea that this is in the first quarter of 2022, a much longer term idea. But the length of wave one placed at this wave too low, Stellar Lumen is basically at the 78.6% retracement. Just like Dogecoin, above 15 cents, I think Stellar Lumen XLM above 19 cents really supports the idea. A major wave 2 is being put in across the cryptocurrency sector, okay? It's not just Bitcoin. The length of wave 1 placed at this wave 2 low takes Stellar Lumen XLM all the way to 97 cents. But the bottom line, gun to my head, it's all about Marathon Patent Group. It's all about Riot Blockchain. We see Marathon Patent Group hold, above 18.32. We see Riot Blockchain hold above 20. There are a lot of evidence. Wave 2 is in. Get off the bus, because these cryptocurrency stocks, these cryptocurrency miners are about to explode into a massive wave 3 higher.